Yo, what's good, YouTube? I hope you guys are having a fine evening so far. Today, I'm going to be going over every killer's signature perk in Dead by Daylight. Before we get into it, if you guys can go ahead and drop a like, drop a sub, turn on those post notifications, and follow my socials. They will be in the description. Let me just repeat that one more time. Please remember to drop a like. Helps the channel so much. But anyways, as I said, we're going to be going over every killer's signature perk in Dead by Daylight. Let's go ahead and get into it. Alright guys, so before we get into the actual listing, I want to go over what I mean when I say signature killer perk, okay? So out of all the perks in the game, there are certain perks that complement every killer's power very well. So that's basically what I'm going to be going over, just perks that synergize very well with the killer's power, man. And yeah, if you don't have these perks and you have a favorite killer, then you might as well go grind for it, okay? So yeah, let's get into it. Alright guys, so we're going to be starting off with the one and only, the man himself, the face of the game, the Trapper, okay? So I'm going to be explaining each killer's power very briefly so that you see how the perks synergize with the power. So the Trapper's power is his traps, his bear traps. He can place his traps around the map, a certain amount of bear traps around the map, so that he can trap survivors and disable loops and just do a lot of stuff. All right, he can use his traps for a lot of stuff, so he's very versatile. So he's very territorial, but the problem is that he needs to set up his traps first, and if you are playing Trapper early on with not a lot of perks, you're going to see that you lose gens early. So a perk that helps him very well is Corrupt Intervention. A Corrupt Intervention blocks off the 3 furthest gens at the start of the game for 2 minutes at tier 3, and it's just very useful on Trapper. So yeah, if you don't have this perk, you might as well have it. Alright guys, so next up we got the Wraith. So the Wraith, by popular opinion, is a pretty weak killer. He depends a lot on perks and add-ons to make him viable in any way. His power allows him to ring a bell and makes him go invisible. He's just stealthy killer. That's pretty much it. That's all he got in his arsenal. And a lot of high tier Wraiths like to use this combination of perks and add-ons that turn them into a hit and run type of killer. And every build that these people use consists of one same perk, which is Sloppy Butcher. Okay, Sloppy Butcher increases the bleeding frequency of survivors, which basically means that it takes longer for them to heal. So good survivors that know that healing is going to take a long time, it keeps them off gens so they don't heal, and then you can just come back, sneak up on them, get an easy down. Okay, so yeah. Alright guys, so next up we got Hillbilly. Hillbilly's power is the ability to be able to raise up your chainsaw, and then you can just one-shot people after you hit them with your chainsaw, and the ability to go from one side of the map to the other. So he's very mobile killer, which makes this perk really good on him, which is Barbecue and Chili. Every time you hook somebody, you see the auras of all other survivors from further than 40 meters from the hook. So when you hook somebody, you see the auras, you can just chainsaw right over there, which he makes information very valuable because you could just capitalize on it. So yeah, it's pretty good. Alright guys, so next up we got the Nurse. Okay, so the Nurse's power is her blink. So she can blink through objects and stuff like that to catch survivors. She's one of the most powerful killers in the game. But the problem with that is whenever she blinks, she goes into a fatigue, which she can't see stuff. So a very good perk on her is Shadowborn. A lot of people like to run Shadowborn on her, and this is because it just increases their field of view and makes it easier to see and capitalize when you're fatigued, and you can just blink back to where they were because you saw where they went. So yeah. Alright, so next up we got the Hag. So the Hag's power is her ability to place traps down and teleport to each trap when they're set off by survivors. Okay, so she's pretty powerful. She is A tier for sure. And her perk is Make Your Choice. Okay, so one of the biggest strategies you can use is Hag. She's very territorial. So as soon as you hook somebody, you put a trap down, you stay in the area, you stay kind of close, don't camp, but like you stay kind of close, and then as soon as somebody goes for the save, they trip off the trap, you teleport to it, and then you just one shot the person that just came for the save with the perk Make Your Choice. Okay, so Make Your Choice is a pig teachable that allows you to one-shot a survivor that unhooks like further than X meters away from you. So yeah, it's pretty powerful, pretty good perk on her. Alright guys, so next up we got Demogorgon. Okay, so Demogorgon is the #1 prime user of Save the Best for Last because of his ability to save stacks. So he has his portals, which he can traverse throughout the map with, and he has his shred attack. So his shred attack doesn't lose stack. You don't lose stacks when you shred somebody. So whenever you run into the obsession, you just shred them and you don't lose stacks. So for every stack, it increases your recovery time after you hit somebody. So you just shred them or you just hit them and you just keep going after them, and your recovery time is just insane, and you can just end chases very quickly mid and late game. So yeah, Demogorgon's prime user. Shout out Bronx. I see him running this perk all the time. All right, so next perk is next killer is Freddy. Okay, so Freddy is the #1 prime user of Pop Goes the Weasel because of his ability to teleport to gens, and just after you hook somebody, you just teleport to the gen and pop it. Okay, so Pop Goes the Weasel is a perk that allows you to hit a generator X amount of seconds after you hook somebody and regress it 25% instantly. So Freddy doesn't have to walk anywhere. He can just teleport to it, bang, 25% off of it, and it starts regressing. So yeah, pretty powerful perk on him. Next one is Oni. Oni is the #1 prime user of, drumroll please, Infectious Fright because of his snowball potential. Okay, so let's say you start the game, bang, you hit somebody, you get some blood, knock them, bang, you already got your power, you hook them, and then bang, you see somebody, oh, you use your power, knock them, Infectious Fright lets you know there's 2 people in the area, bang, bang, game's over. Very powerful perk on him, and yeah, it's insane. It's insane. Next, we got Huntress. So Huntress, her perk, I'm just gonna say Iron Maiden. Okay, Iron Maiden is such a perk that was just made for Huntress. You don't use this on anybody but Huntress, okay? Because Iron Maiden, it has 2 things, okay? So Iron Maiden allows you to open lockers X amount faster. So you just open lockers faster, and then anytime somebody comes out of a locker, they're exposed for like 15 seconds. So it's just a pretty solid perk that Huntresses use just to not have to run an add-on. So it's basically like you're running 3 add-ons every game if you're running this perk. So yeah, pretty good. Next up, we got Michael. So I did not want to repeat perks. That's why I kind of, you know what I'm saying, try to be versatile with the perks I use with killers, but I had to repeat it for Michael Myers. Okay, so Michael is a prime user of Monitor and Abuse. He uses Monitor very well because in tier 2 he has a very low tear radius as well. So it's just, there's nothing more to it. It's just, he's just very good because at tier 2 he doesn't have a big tear radius. He can sneak up and just be a little stalker boy, man. Just be a little stalker boy. Alright, so next up we got Pig. So Pig, she has her ability to be stealthy, to be undetectable, but sometimes you don't know when to use it, and when you do use it and it doesn't work out, it was kind of a waste of time because her crouch is so slow. So Whispers is a very good perk on her. Whispers is a perk that lights up whenever you're within 32 meters of a survivor. So you just, whenever you see the perk pop up, you crouch and you just go to wherever 32 meters in front of you was. So yeah, it's a pretty powerful perk on her as well. Alright guys, so next up we got Ghostface. So Ghostface is a really good user of Nurse's Calling because of his ability to be stealthy. Okay, so he's probably one of the best stealth killers in the game. Probably the best, yeah. Probably the best stealth killer in the game. And when you use the same kind of strategy that Wraith uses, to an extent where you're hitting and running and you keep people injured, Nurses helps you sneak up on survivors and get easy downs. It's a pretty powerful perk on him as well. Next up, we got Spirit. So Spirit, a lot of people like to use her power to just get downs, like you just get downs, but sometimes Iron Will can counter her very well, and just people who just be unpredictable can counter you very well. But this perk allows her to be unstoppable, which is Strider. Okay, so Strider makes survivors loud as fuck. Pretty much, that's it. So whenever you're in your power, you are not in trouble. You can just down them. So yeah. Next up, we got the Twins. So the Twins is a slugging machine. That killer is a slugging machine. So what better way to keep track of those slugs than Deerstalker, man? Deerstalker is a viable perk on her. Like, a lot of people like running Twins with Deerstalker, which is kind of crazy to me. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Alright guys, so next up we got Bubba, okay, Leatherface. His ability to down survivors is pretty solid, but he has a counter, okay? Vaulting windows, okay? So what better way to capitalize on this than running Bamboozle, okay? So Bamboozle is a very powerful perk on him because of the reason that he blocks windows by vaulting them, and he vaults them faster. So it just lets you get on their ass faster so you can just keep breaking pallets, okay? So yeah, pretty powerful perk on him. Next up, we got Blight. Okay, so Blight is he's the best. He's the most mobile killer in the game, which makes information so freaking valuable and so strong on him. Like, he can get from one side of the map to the other, and that's why he's my favorite killer. So the best perk to run on him, and his signature perk, is Tinkerer. Okay, when a generator hits 70%, it lights up and you get undetectable, so you could just zoom over to the generator and stop it with ruin and undying. That's why that combination is so deadly, and that's what makes him a strong killer. He could just be so mobile, apply pressure all around the map. Alright, so next up we got Legion. Okay, so Legion's ability to injure a lot of survivors at a time makes the Thanatophobia a very good perk on him. The Thanatophobia adds a penalty to survivors on repairing and stuff like that. Whenever, like, the more people are down, the more people are hooked, injured, it adds a penalty to their actions. So yeah, pretty powerful perk on him. Next up we got Clown. So Clown is a pretty strong anti-loop killer. He's not the weakest killer in the game because Wraith is pretty weak. I would put Wraith underneath him, but Clown is pretty strong with his anti-loop, and a pretty strong tactic that survivors use just to counter him is just pre-throwing pallets. So what better way to just capitalize on this than to run Brutal Strength? Brutal Strength allows you to break pallets faster, so yeah, it's a pretty good perk on him. Next up, we got Doctor. Okay, so Doctor, his ability to deny survivors of pallets is pretty strong, but like I said with Clown, people like to play anti-loop killers by just dropping pallets early. So what better way to play this than running Zanshin Tactics? So Zanshin Tactics is a perk that allows you to see the auras of pallets and stuff like that from a distance, so you can time your shocks very well and see if the survivor is going to make it to a pallet in time. So yeah, pretty powerful perk on him. Next up we got Pyramid Head. Okay, so Pyramid Head, I had kind of trouble searching for a pretty signature perk on him because he's pretty meta killer. He runs meta perks, but until I found All Ears. All Ears is a pretty, like, it's a really powerful perk on him because of his ability with his little shockwave attack. He can hit people through structures and stuff like that, and it's pretty powerful on him. So somebody vaults a window, they're on the other side of the wall, and you still see him, bang, you just hit him with your little shockwaves. Pretty powerful on him. Next up we got Plague. Okay, so Plague is the last killer on our list here, and Plague, her ability to keep survivors injured because of the punishment of giving you your power is pretty strong. So running Dying Light is really good because it adds a regression and penalty to their actions and stuff like that. So yeah, it's pretty good, man. That is all our killers. I think that is all our killers. Yes, that is all our killers. I'm gonna tell you all the story right now. I ran out of clip size. Like, I couldn't do any more clips, so I had to do this last one. Like, I had to read my script in this whole clip. That was crazy. But yeah, finished the video, man. I'm happy. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, man. I'm definitely gonna be coming up with more video ideas like this. I felt like this video was very fun to make, and hope you guys enjoyed. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on those post notifications, and yeah, I will see you guys later. Peace out, man.